I hope you all are doing great. So in today's session we are going to cover regular expressions part 2. Part 1 I have uploaded yesterday. So in today's session we're gonna see few more examples of regular expressions. Okay. So these questions are kind of interview questions. So if you are preparing for SDET interview or Java interview questions, so you can go through it. Okay. So let's begin. So this type of question we have covered yesterday, right? But here the only difference is it has few more conditions, restrictions. So if you see, write a regular expression for 10-digit phone number where starting two digits can be 8 or 9 but the last digit is 0. Okay, so if you see the first two digits, we know it can be either 8 or 9 but it can't be anything other than 8 or 9, right? So if you see, we have created the range 8 to 9 and then defined the quantifier 2. So this is for the first two digits. Okay, I'm highlighting. And then the next part, for the next 7 digit we need to define a range 0 to 9 and then 7 we mention in the quantifier, right? And then if you see, we are defining the last digit. So this is for the first two, this is for next 7 digit, and this is for the last digit. I hope this is clear. And anyway, once I'm done with all the questions, so I'm gonna run all these questions in Java. Okay, we're gonna see the Java code also, so don't worry. Okay, let's move on to the next question. I have been asked this question actually. So write a regular expression for a valid username and below are the conditions to be a valid username. So username is of 8 to 30 characters and username can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscore, and the first character of username must be alphabetic character. Okay, so this is fine. So these are the conditions. So now if you see, the first character must be alphabetic character, right? So if you see, we are creating a range A to Z, uppercase, A to Z, lowercase, and then square bracket close. Okay, quantify we have mentioned 1. If you don't want to mention it, that is also fine, because anyway square bracket means only one character. Okay, then for the again, now since we have defined the range for the first character, so this range will also get changed, right? So it will become 7 to 29 now for the next remaining characters, right? So if you see, next characters, so username can only contain alphanumeric characters and underscore, right? So for the remaining characters, we are defining the range again A to Z, in uppercase, lowercase, 0 to 9 digits, and then underscore, because they have mentioned the underscore also, right? So and then in the quantifier, this is I remember I showed you yesterday, right? Minimum and maximum range. So 7 to 29, because the first character we are defining here, right? So I hope this is clear. And this thing like is dollar and caret symbol, I guess yesterday I told you, I remember. This is for whenever we are starting the string, and this one we use whenever we are gonna end the string, right? I hope this is clear. And we can answer this question in two ways. So first one is this, and the other answer can be this one. So instead of let me highlight it. So instead of this thing, I'm mentioning backward slash small w. W is lowercase, right? So what does it mean? So it is again a kind of meta character. So today we are going to discuss it. Yesterday I guess we didn't get a chance to discuss it. So if you see, these are few more meta characters which we didn't discuss yesterday. So backward slash w in lowercase, backward slash w in uppercase, backward slash d in lowercase, backward slash d in uppercase, right? So small w means what? This expression is equivalent to this one. Now it is pretty clear why I mentioned a small w instead of this, right? It means it can have a to z uppercase, a to z lowercase, 0 to 9 all the digits, and underscore also. Okay, upper w in uppercase means matches any non-word character. So this expression is equivalent to caret symbol, and remaining characters are same. Okay, so kind of a not condition. Similar thing with d, matches a digit character and matches a non-digit character, d in uppercase. I hope this is clear. Okay, move on to the next question. Write a regular expression for a valid email ID, and below are the conditions to be a valid email ID. So email ID should end with .com or .net, or here we can take some examples, or we can even ask them to give some examples for both valid as well as invalid, so that we are clear with the question and we can start writing the regular expression for that, right? So and even they can tweak this question. So if you know the logic, then you can even answer it without any issues. Okay, so let's see this valid example. So dummy at the rate. So at the rate, obviously if you are using email ID, it should contain at the rate, and then domain name and .com. So here they have mentioned that they're accepting only .com and .net, right? And at the rate is obvious thing, like it should be there. So let's start. So if you see the range thing, we are defining the range a to z, a to z in uppercase, lowercase, and 0 to 9. Okay, it can be anything, right? This part, dummy email ID part. Okay, till here. Plus symbol, what does it mean? Plus symbol, let me show you. If you see here, plus symbol means one or more times, right? So we are expecting this value to occur one or more times, but not 0 times. So for 0 or more, we have other meta characters, right? 0 or more, 1 time, 0 or more times, asterisk and question mark. So we have to use plus if we need 1 or more times, right? So this thing we need 1 or more times, right? Dummy email ID something, right? Okay, till here it's clear. Then we are using at the rate, right? It is mandatory, so I have just mentioned at the rate. Then for Gmail, they didn't provide anything, right? It can be it can be anything. So they didn't provide the condition for this. Okay, we are accepting only Gmail or Yahoo. If that's the case, then we can mention Gmail or Yahoo in our condition like this. Okay, but since they didn't mention, so better we can create the define the range again, a to z. It should not accept any numeric values. If you want to define, then this way we can define it. Okay, 0 to 9. I'm just giving you some ideas so that you are comfortable with a regular expression. Okay, so after that, again we are using plus, so it should occur 1 or more times, right? Gmail, right? Or xyz, whatever it is. And then we are using dot. So why we are putting these backslashes? Because dot symbol is a special character, so we need to provide if we want to use this, better to provide 2 backslashes, then we can define the character, exact character. So period we are using. Okay, and then at the end they have mentioned it should be com or net. Other than com or net, not acceptable, right? So if you see, we have mentioned the or condition, com or net. Okay, they can tweak the question if you know the logic, if you know how to work with regular expression, then you should be able to answer it. If they change it like, okay, we are like domain name should be Gmail or Yahoo, so the same thing whatever we are doing here, you can do the same thing here also. Okay, I hope this is clear. I will show you the Java code also, but I guess we are left with one more question. Yes, so write a regular expression for a valid URL. I remember I have been asked this question I guess 2 or more times, so that's why I remember and I have kept it here. So write a regular expression for a valid URL. Refer below examples. URL should end with either com or in to be a valid URL. So valid URL example, https, http. So okay, so this is secure, this is not secure, right? And both are valid. Okay, .com, .in, similar way, like this way, same thing we are doing here, like .com and .in. Okay, and here one more thing is, if you're mentioning www dot, that is also fine. If you're not mentioning www, that is also fine. Okay, but you should not mention anything else like 3 times a or whatever. If you're mentioning www, we're gonna accept it, this is a valid URL. But if you're mentioning some random characters before the domain name, that is an invalid URL. Okay, I hope this is clear. So better, if you're not if you're having some doubts with the example, so better to ask front, otherwise you will get confused. Okay, so if you see here how to write it, so till here was the common part, http is a common part, right? So till http is fine, right? Now s is in the first example, s is occurring once, and in the below example it is not occurring, right? So why we are using question mark? So question mark, if I go back to this, question mark means 0 or 1 time. Okay, so if we are using question mark after s, it means s can come once or 0 or once, right? 0 or 1 time. Okay, so in first example it is coming once, so acceptable. Second example is it is not coming, again it is acceptable, because question mark means 0 or 1 time, right? So I hope this is clear. Then we are using dot and then forward slashes and then www. Okay, so this is again www dot, right? Dot also we need to mention, because here if you see before YouTube we are not having dot, so this is optional kind of www dot till dot, right? So if you see www to backward slashes dot, till here I have mentioned, and then the same thing, it's an optional thing, so 0 or 1, so I have mentioned question mark. So till here it's fine. Then YouTube can be anything, like domain name can be anything, so we are mentioning small w in lowercase, right? So this is nothing but a if I go back to here, matches, this expression is equivalent to a to z in lowercase 0 to 9 and underscore, right? So it's gonna accept all these characters. Okay, plus means 1 or more times, so it should come. If domain name is not present, we're gonna print invalid, it is not a valid URL. Okay, now till here I have explained. Now here dot, right? So dot, we need to provide backslashes, and then we have a or condition. If you see, URL should end with .com or .in. So dot we have mentioned, com or in we are mentioning using pipe symbol, so it can be com or in. Okay, I hope this is clear. So let's run the Java code. Okay. Okay, so let's begin with this question first. So if you see, I have copied the regular expression. Okay, and in string, this is the same method, same class which I showed you yesterday. Okay, so now we're gonna change the string and see what is the output. Okay, so in this case, http www.youtube.com, it is a valid URL, right? So we're gonna run it. It is valid. If I change it to in, still it is valid. If I change this to net, it is invalid. Okay, if I change this to s and this to com, it is valid. Okay, now instead of, okay, one more valid condition, we're gonna check it. It is valid. Okay, now if I mention some random character, dot, okay, instead of www, so it is invalid. I hope this is clear. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Email ID. Okay, I'm just gonna copy this. gmail.com. It is valid. Oh, okay, it is invalid because, okay, let me see. Yeah, okay, it should be valid. Yeah, it is valid, right? Okay, and if I remove @ instead of @ I am keeping hash, so it is invalid. Okay, if I am keeping in, it is invalid because we have mentioned we're gonna accept only com or net. Need it is invalid, right? Okay, so let's move on to the last question, which is username, right? So yeah, okay, so this is regular expression for username, and username can be, so what was the condition? Okay, 8 to 30 and first. Okay, so it can be, first character can be anything, alphabetic character, and then 7 to 29 range, and it can be it should contain only, okay, so we can just put, okay, it is valid, right? And if I start with digit, it is invalid. And what else? If I, okay, so minimum range should be 7, minimum length should be 7, and maximum 29 for these characters, so it should be total 8 or 30, right? So let me keep 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it is invalid. And if I keep exact it is valid, right? And so here w in lowercase we mentioned, right? So it gonna accept digits, alphabetic characters, and underscore, right? If I try to mention other than like any other special character like at the rate, it is invalid. Okay guys, so that's all for today. So tomorrow I will be uploading the third and final part of regular expressions interview questions. Okay, be safe and have a good one. Bye.